Uganda to promote, I don't want to use political words.
Yeah, one Uganda, one people.
No. But to promote the betterness of Uganda as a country, a whole, you know, where everyone is benefiting from the development that is implemented by the National Development Plan for. So that's what collaboration will be all about.
Well, when we talk about advocacy, it means something is existing, but there are barriers stopping it from being implemented fully. What barriers are existing that are stopping the collaboration of CSOs with government?
There are quite a number, and they are on both sides of the coin, on government side, but also on civil society side.
Let's begin with the government.
To begin with the government, I think one of the key barriers is the bit of trust and confidence. Does government really believe that the civil society we have in Uganda can deliver that meaningful collaboration? Do they believe that the civil society we have in Uganda can work with them collaboratively and complementarily beyond expecting them to only deliver social services? Because there's a thinking that civil society only delivers social services. But civil society goes beyond delivering social services. Like I've already been talking about, holding government accountable, being able to point out, to provide the checks and balances. Civil society's other role is to provide checks and balances. So not fusing the role of civil society to only be a service delivery provision entity, but allowing civil society, yes, to provide services where they have to provide services, to align with the government priorities and planning and budgeting as well, to align with the implementation of government programs, but at the same time to be able to provide the checks and balances to government so that we move together as a collective. So that is one of the key challenges.
On the side of the
government. On the side of government,
now
yes.
We go on the side,
on the side of civil society, I think one of the things that we are dealing with today is a disengaged citizenry. A disengaged citizenry, I mean citizens that are not willing to take part in government processes, not ready and not interested in anything government anymore. It doesn't mean that we haven't had an active citizenry. We actually had moments of active citizens in Uganda.
And they lost interest.
Absolutely, and they were very interested, but now they seemingly are tending to lose interest. What that means for civil society is that empowering citizens will become quite challenging, but also involving citizens as key participants in the delivery of government programs will be challenging because citizens will increasingly be unavailable. And remember, we are calling for inclusive governance, inclusive participation, inclusive implementation of the NDP4. So without citizens participating, then that inclusive character will miss in the whole implementation of the National Development Plan. The reason why we need that inclusive participation is because various perspectives come onto the table. And with the various perspectives, then the national planning team that is not necessarily on engaging with the people and on the ground is able to appreciate how their development priorities are appreciated from the angle or the perspective of those that are at the end of the day meant to benefit from the implementation. So those are the different dynamics that we see that could be challenging if citizens continue to be disengaged. So empowerment and mobilization of citizens to participate in how they are governed will become a key challenge.
This is a call to both the civil society
and also to government, because government is supposed to create an environment that facilitates this engagement and active participation of citizens, that makes citizens interested in how they are governed, but also in government programs and how they are being implemented. So if that is not working, government needs to check what could be the problem and then address that problem and then get the citizens back on track.
Well, thank you so much, Ms. Sophie Kyagulanyi. It has been an honor having you in the digital studios. You talked about embracing the digital advantage.
Yes.
Can you just shed more light about that?
Now, when we talk about effective collaboration between government and civil society, in the implementation of the NDP4, already there are 18 parameters that the NDP4 is really focusing on. And in these 18 parameters, NPA, the National Planning Authority, has communicated that they are planning to set up a platform where they will bring together civil society to support them in the implementation or to complement them in the implementation of the NDP4.
Yes.
My guide was that as they think about this platform, they need to think about how they take advantage of technology and how technology can really make this platform much more better in either usage, collection of data, engagement of the participants, engagement of civil society, bringing together all the different other actors, because civil society is already divided alongside the different 18 parameters. But a platform that brings everyone together is what we are looking at. Because it would allow quicker access to information in real time. It would allow transparency. We'll get to know information. We'll get to know the different priorities of government, how they are implemented, where they're implemented, who is benefiting. And then in that way, we have the same information that we are using as a country. So really taking advantage of technology and the digital technology will be a key game changer to this whole process of collaboration between government and civil society in the implementation of the National Development Plan 4.
Thank you so much. I can't be more honored. I want to thank you, those that have joined us live. I also want to inform you that DigTalk took advantage of the digital era, and as you can see, we are live, we are digital, we are using a digital van. I'll be breaking shortly, and in a few minutes I will be having another panelist talking about the future of CSOs and whether we should go into collaboration with the government or we should maintain our autonomy and independence.
My name is Elizabeth Aliano. I'm an executive director at the Center for Women and Children's Reintegration, an organization I founded in 2019. The organization is born of a research I conducted on the situation of children born outside marriage in Uganda. It was my master's research, and actually the organization is implementing recommendations of my master's research. What motivated me to do this is that I used to be a probation and social welfare officer with government. And when you visit the probation and social welfare office, you'll find neglected children, women with abandoned children, women whose husbands or boyfriends had told them to abort the child and they chose not to. But to abort it, and then you chose not to.
They have full responsibility to the kid.
So he leaves the full responsibility on you because you refused to abort. He offered the money and you refused. And then there are also men who are married and impregnating girls
outside their marriages.
So you should not talk about it. And especially they're the ones who tell the girl to abort that child. So if you refuse, you should never talk about it. So these children live in a lot of fear. I mean, they live in neglect. They don't get any support from the father. So all the basic needs, many of them suffer them. And why? Because in most cases, the mothers may not be having the resources to look after their children. And in our definition of children born outside marriage at the Center for Women and Children's Reintegration, it is children born of war, children born of relationships that did not work, children born of aid workers. Imagine people who come to do the road construction sites. They have children by the time they are leaving. They've left a lot of children in that community. And then children born celibate. Their fathers are priests or Catholic nun. So those ones, because society knows that a priest should not have a child. But now if he has a child, that means the children are hidden from society most of the time. And these children cannot call you daddy in public. Yeah, so
either uncle or someone.
Exactly. So the identity is hidden away from society most of the time. So our organization is advocating for identity rights of children born outside marriage. We are also advocating for sexual reproductive health rights of girls and women as a preventive measure. Because why do I carry a child born of rape or defilement? If, for example, I'm a mother and I know my child was raped, or I'm a woman and I was raped, I should go and get prevention measure from sexual reproductive health service providers. Why do I carry pregnancy of a child that I'll regret having all my life, you know?
Yeah.
So we are also doing advocacy for economic rights of the girls, women, and the children born outside marriage.
Well, thank you so much. I want to appreciate you for that in-depth research and the recommendations therein. But I want to look at the legal perspective. Are there any laws defending these kids born outside marriages?
Yes, the laws in Uganda are very clear, but the challenge is the enforcement. Because when you go to the Children's Act, you'll find that there's the right for a child to get recognition and support from both the parents, the right of a child to have a father and a mother, the right of a child to get all their rights provided for. All these rights are there. Only that the enforcement is the problem. Even when I was a probation officer, I suffered that big problem of enforcement.
But then we need to work around enforcement. How better can we have these laws being enforced?
It is a challenge enforcing these laws because one, corruption is a hindrance. Corruption is a systemic problem within the justice law and order sector. You do not know the form it takes. You do not know why a file has disappeared. You do not know why the case is not progressing. Maybe some money will have already exchanged hands. So you keep on moving to court, moving to the offices all the time. But you see people tossing you and you do not know why they are tossing you. Maybe money will have exchanged hands. So corruption is one. And then also the challenge now is that the issue we are dealing with is linked to patriarchy. A system that does not see anything wrong with a man's action. But when a woman does the same thing, everybody is pointing fingers at her. Yes. You are a harlot, you're a prostitute, you're sleeping with men, you have wronged men, you know. So that is also another reason the children are suffering, especially the girls and their children. You are accused of having denied the family bride price, and yet someone could have raped you. It was a defilement case. You know, it was a relationship that did not work. You cannot force it. If things don't work, you should part your ways, but does not mean the father should not provide for the child.
Of the kids, yes.
Yeah. And then also what I always struggle with is empowered women. They say I have everything. I can look after my children. But I'm telling you, even when you build that house of yours with your money on your father's land, the same clan or family will chase your children away because they don't belong. That's why we're advocating for identity rights. We want children to belong. You know?
Yeah, that is...
So there are also now an increasing problem of children marrying their siblings because you were never introduced. You did not know this is my sister. I know of a case of a man in Mukono who lived with a woman for 20 years and had 5 children and don't know they were siblings.
What?
The very first time they are going to a family gathering is when they learn their mother is the same person. I also know of a man who committed suicide the day his son came to marry his daughter. So now that is where we are heading.
That is
if we keep on concealing the identity rights of the children.
So there needs to be, something needs to be done. But then I want to connect our conversation to today's topic of the future of CSOs in Uganda. I want to first concentrate on your submission you made appreciating GIZ for supporting you. And then I'll ask you this question. Do you feel collaborations between CSOs and government are really important? Are they relevant? Yes,
they are. Like now, for us in the work we do, we cannot do without the justice, law and order sector.
But the some government is coming for those organizations that are supporting CSOs, for example, the DGF. So how are these collaborations going to be impactful if the government is coming for those organizations that are really supporting the CSOs?
I think the government is coming for organizations that are specifically addressing governance issues, the issues that are a threat to the government. But if you are implementing a program like ours, which does not meet
if it is a social issue,
yeah, we are dealing with our social issue. We only go to the police when we need you to accompany us to the field, when we are going to do a dialogue and mediation to facilitate family reunion. we use them. We engage with the government, we engage with the Family and Child Protection Unit, we engage with the Community Liaison Officer, you know, when we are going to talk about these issues, because they normally talk to large groups of people. So if we engage them, just like last week we were reunifying a girl, 28 years, with her father, and we took the police with us, Family and Child Protection, and we're saying, this is the first time I hear about this. I have never heard about an organization doing this. You know, and we work with the cultural leaders, work with the religious leaders, we work with education institutions, because we want to promote awareness about this issue since it's born of research. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I heard you have products you're exhibiting.
Yeah, so that business is born to support this organization. Why? We are dealing with a unique societal problem that is not known in development discourse. This organization is the first of its kind. Even when I was doing my master's, it was like the first of its kind. But the information I collected from the community, the primary data is what informs this research. The first book, the only book I read was about illegitimacy, written by someone in California, and it's the reason family planning and abortion were introduced. That lady called Teachman, she wrote a book which was about illegitimacy, the act of having a child outside marriage. Yeah, so that is one. Then I read a chapter in a book written in Zimbabwe, which was talking about non-marital children. Beside that, there was no literature about children born outside marriage in Uganda, anywhere in the world. So we are dealing with we are like the first in everything. So it was hard to attract funding, and that is what prompted us to start a social enterprise, so that we have our own money to sustain us.
To sustain your works. Well, thank you so much. Those were great insights. I hope you picked one or two sentences from her submissions. I want to close here, and I look for another panelist as we go for lunch. We'll be right back.